Let's get started. Let's, if I could, take you back to early times in Los Angeles before LA Guns. What are your memories of those days?
I've been doing it for so long, and when I joined LA Guns in 1987, I had already been recording for like about 12 years. I started recording in 1975, and I did a bunch of one-off albums with a bunch of bands, and I did a couple of years with Steppenwolf out on the road, and then I started recording some more stuff in LA, starting with Keel, doing the Rights of Rock, and then doing, obviously the 4 albums with Wasp, and from 83 to 87. And so I had been doing really a lot of stuff now before I joined LA Guns, and I was bouncing around a lot, playing with a lot of different bands.
What's your memories of the early LA scene, like in the 80s? I was there in 86 visiting, and I visited a couple of years ago now. What's your comparison between those days and these days? Must have been a real heady time.
Oh, yeah, it was such a heady time. From 82 to 92, the LA scene was just so thriving, and a lot of cities in the States, they've had their moments when they had the scene in their city, and they've lasted about 3 to 5 years in a strong fashion. LA scene in the 80s was just nonstop driving from 82 to 92, and I was like really fortunate to be involved with both waves of hard rock that came out of LA. I was with Wasp in that first wave that came out with Motley Crue and Wasp and Dokken and Rat and all of those bands. And I did that. And then when I was out of Wasp in 87, I realized there was another wave of metal that was coming out of hard rock that coming out of LA. And that was with Guns N' Roses and LA Guns and Faster Pussycat, Jet Boy. And so I was really fortunate. I jumped from the first wave to the second wave, and it was just a thriving scene, man. And there was just so many record labels and so many managements and so many big machines around for bands and obviously MTV and radio, that the scene just thrived, and we were able to get to a lot of eyes and ears. Right now, LA is a different type of scene right now. It's more scattered. It's not so concentrated. And all the bands that came out of LA in the 80s, they're still going. But, we were all fortunate. We got a catalog of material that all of us can play and tour around the world. But I really feel for the new bands here in LA. It's a very difficult scene for them to get off the ground because of the lack of labels and management and machinery that's around. There's hardly any record stores too, but it's a different scene. But we're all still thriving. We're all still recording, and we're all playing live. But most of the bands that are doing that are the bands that already have the catalog of material and have a big fan base, and
Let's talk about LA Guns then. You've got a long history with LA Guns, but for anyone coming in and trying to read the history, they're going to get a headache with 2 different versions. I mean, come on. How is that from your side? How is it competing against another version? Is there legal action involved? What's the story?
Well, you know what? The thing is that with most classic rock bands that have been around for over 25 years or so, it's very difficult to keep the classic lineup together. It just really is. I have been the only one from the classic lineup that has stayed with the band and kept it going. I've always run the business of the band, and I played drums on just about every album too. And I've always tried to talk the classic members from staying and not leaving and straying away. And it's not always successful. People want to do different things. They want to do it differently. And so, I just kept pushing forward. And I've always felt like because I never left LA Guns, and when I'm one of the classic members, and I co-wrote all the material and recorded all the albums, that this LA Guns that I'm in is the LA Guns that people know, because I've never quit the band, whether it would be with the classic members or with Tracy alone or with Phil alone. I've always kept going and kept the band going. And I'm very proud of the band. I'm very proud of our catalog. And I just know that there's confusion out there, but it's something that you just can't get away from, because it happens to just about every band. They change members, and some of the classic members will keep it going. And it's something that you just got to kind of deal with if you've been around this long. And so I know it's a little bit confusing, but with me and Kelly Nichols together and us being co-writers on all of the classic material, and us being the battery mates for the pushing all of the material, the bass player and drummer, I just feel really good about it. I feel confident about it. And with our new album, Renegades, I feel like we stay true to LA Gun sound and our look and our feel and just our style. So, the confusion is something that you got to kind of deal with. But if you're good and you feel confident and you've got the good material, it's something you just got to go with.
Yeah. Let's talk about Renegades then. It's a good album. I had it on repeat last night, so well done there. What can you tell me about getting that together, and tell us some of the stories behind some of the songs?
Well, I tell you what, it was a really, really snowball effect on everything that happened with me and Kelly Nichols. We did a live show in 2019 in May at the big M3 festival here in Maryland in the States, and we got Kurt Froelich as a singer. He's a fabulous singer, and we found him through a friend. And we have Scotty Griffin playing lead guitar. He has been with the band for a number of years, but he was playing bass, but he is a lead guitar player. So the band came together very, very easily. There wasn't any auditioning. Kurt was the first guy that we listened to on vocals, and we knew he was the right guy. And so from that show that we did in M3 in May of 2019, it snowballed because the show went over so good. We only did classic material because we had not written together yet. And so the show went over so good, somebody filmed it, they put it up on the internet, and the response was tremendous. Everybody just loved it. And we got a management deal from that New Breed out here in L.A. It's a big management company. They signed us right away. They brought us to Golden Robot Records, and Mark Alexander Erber over there loved the whole idea and what the band did at M3. We went into a pre-production mode in 2019, the summer, for a couple of months, and we all live all over the States. I'm in L.A., Kelly's in New York, Kurt is in Florida, and Scotty's in Las Vegas. So with the tight budgets that you have nowadays, it was very difficult to get everybody together into a pre-production studio for a couple of months to write together. So we used the internet, and we started exchanging ideas and songs that we had all been sitting on. And we had about 40 songs that all of us had, and we started exchanging them and talking about them and what ones we might want to record. And we whittled it down to about 10 songs and worked on them through the internet, over the internet, and ideas and what we thought we should do with certain songs and how we should put them together. And everybody writes in the band, so everybody had tons of gists of songs and songs they were sitting on. And after we had finished that, now I had gotten everybody out here, because I produced the album Renegades also. So what I did was I got everybody out here to L.A., and we did a 2-day marathon pre-production and went through the 10 songs and made sure we knew what we were going to do with these songs. And then on that third day, I had everybody go into the studio, and we went in for like 7 days to record. And I did all my drum beds in one day. Kelly did his bass parts with me that day, and then maybe a few more the next day, and then, the guitars and the vocals. And then I sent everybody home. They flew home, and I mixed it with the engineer for about a week, and we mastered it that week too. So we did it very old school, and it was a very quick procedure that we did on this album. And I think it really worked. It helped because we captured a raw sound, and we didn't dwell on it too much where we wanted to keep changing things. And I think we really captured something special. It was a very organic thing that happened, and the chemistry with the band was very, very cool. And so, you know, everybody brought in songs, and each song was maybe a gist of a song, and we all finished them together and shared songwriting credits together throughout the album too, in a very democratic way. And we felt very good about everything, and we especially felt good, Mal, about finishing it in December 2019. I finished the entire thing, mastering it, and Kelly did all the artwork, and then this pandemic hit, because we had tooled around with the idea of maybe doing it this year, and we would have been screwed. We would not have been able to do it. It would have been just too difficult to pull it off. Yeah. And we had the album done. So, you know, we were going to release it in March of this year and go out on a tour, but when that changed with this virus thing, we decided to release a single every 2.5 months to give the fans something new to listen to. And now we're right here at it. We're on November 13th. We released the entire thing. So we're very excited about it. We're excited about the songs that we created and the sound that we captured on it too.
Yeah, well done. I think you should be very excited. As for the recording thing, nothing really beats the band getting together in the same room and nutting things out together, does it?
Oh, man. I'll tell you now, it was really special. After doing this thing I've never done an internet pre-production where we were exchanging ideas for a couple months and working on them over the internet. But it was something special because when we did get together for those 2 days of marathon pre-production here in Los Angeles, and we felt it, we knew that we had something really special, and getting together, the four of us, and playing them after doing that internet exchange was something really special. So after those 2 days of marathons and getting into the studio, we just, it was really, all I can explain is very organic. It really happened very easily. And I was surprised because I've always done a pre-production in a studio with the guys, sitting down, writing, looking at each other. But we did this differently, and it just worked, and we were happy with it.
This is coming out November 13. This is a tough question, though. What happens then? How are we looking over there?
Well, here's what we're going to do. Obviously, the album will come out November 13th. We're going to release another single the week before it. It's All That You Are from the album. So that'll be 4 singles that we have released off of it. And then the whole album will come out November 13th. We can't wait for everybody to hear the whole album and see how deep it is and how it moves so well. And what we'll do is, it's a great timing for holiday too, because you obviously don't have all the outlets to move stuff through record stores. So it's a great way to go to laguns.net and find out how you can order it. We got a bunch of bundles put together with shirts and patches that go with the album and the CD. And then, you know, what we'll do is we'll release maybe another single at the end of January, because if anybody hasn't bought the whole album, they can at least buy this to get the singles. And they, you know, obviously, the other thing now is the first 3 singles have streamed over 500,000 just on Spotify alone. So the response has been really, really good to the first 3 singles. So when the album comes out November 13th, we have our whole schedule from 2020 this year moved into 2021. Nothing was canceled. Everything was postponed. So we have a full schedule of festivals, fairs, and casinos, and maybe the odd club here and there that we might do. And so we have a full schedule that starts in March, and that'll be perfect timing. We might release another single at the end of January, and then right before we go out, maybe we release another single and go out and do some of this new material with obviously a lot of the old classic material that we have to do, Never Enough, Ballad of Jane, all of that, Sex Action. I mean, fans want to hear those songs. And then we'll probably throw in 3 or 4 new songs from Renegades But, we're with everybody else now. We got our fingers crossed. We have the full schedule to play in 2021, but we got to see how this plays out. And, if for any reason we can't go out next year, we have such a wealth of material that we're ready to do another album with Golden Robot Records, and they're ready to do it too. So we just want to get out there and play live like all of our other mates here in L.A. Everybody's just sitting, waiting to see what's going to happen with this pandemic. It's been a hell of a year.
Yeah, it's been pretty shit, to put it mildly.
Oh, totally, man. Just a bunch of shit. And it's just been going on. It feels like it's been going on for like 4 fucking years. It's insane. But it's really, it's only been going on for it's 7 months now, and it feels like it's been going on forever.
Let me ask you this. Any stories you can tell me? What's the funniest thing that's happened either at a gig or on tour? After the answer that Stevie D from Buckcherry gave me, I think I'm ready for anything, so hit me with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing for so long with so many bands that so many funny things have happened, really, I mean, obviously tons of funny stories, but, when I was with Wasp, a lot of funny stuff happened, and with Chris Holmes. He's such a good friend of mine, and he's such a wild man. And I've told this story before, and it's probably one of the most funny things because we were on stage, and the early Wasp, we used to throw out the meat at the audience.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing, Blackie throwing the meat at the audience during our set. We would be doing a song and then go into a mode where it would just be a rhythm underneath him, and he'd be throwing out the meat. And we were over in Europe and Scandinavia, and we were in a large club, but we were using smoke machines. And so the club would be filled up with all smoke, and you really couldn't see very well from the stage. And while Blackie was throwing out that meat, I was playing, and I could see something coming from the audience. And, the people used to throw the meat back at us, too, on the stage. It was a funny scene. And I saw something coming out of the audience, and it was this big thing, and I didn't know what the hell it was. And me, Chris Holmes, and Randy are playing while he was throwing up the meat, Blackie. And this big thing's coming out of the audience, and it looked like it was in slow motion. And it was a big frozen rack of lamb or something. It was like a frozen piece of meat, huge piece. And it hit Chris Holmes right in the head, and it just knocked him out. He went right down, and it was kind of scary but funny as hell because it all happened in slow motion. And it's one of the stories and one of the things that happened with me while I was playing live that I just will never forget. Chris Holmes went down. He had like a big, big cut on his head, and this frozen lamb or rack of something just hit him. And it's something that I swear to God I'll just never forget. But that's one of the stories that just is like embedded in my mind. That was hilarious.
Who goes to a metal gig with a rack of lamb? I mean...
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. It was unbelievable. And he went down. He was out cold. It was huge, a huge thing, a huge frozen piece of meat. And it was funny because we all got pelted with meat. When Blackie threw it out to the audience, obviously the people threw it back. It was so funny.
I think we've pretty much covered everything, Steve.
Well, I tell you what, Mel, the thing is it's so hard to find how to get product right now because there's not a lot of record stores and people are kind of like bewildered on. I just wanted everybody to know, all our fans and anybody else, if they ever want to find out about L.A. Guns dates or our shows or how to order our album or any merchandise and watch any fun videos, to just go to laguns.net. On that site, you can find out everything that we're doing and how to order our new album. And it's just an easy way to give the people an alleyway on how to find out what we're doing and how to get our product too. And, I just thank you for your support, Mal. We really appreciate it.
Hey, no worries. Hey, I'm just on that laguns.net right now. It's a very impressive looking site. Well done.
Oh, yeah, no, I was wondering, where are you out of now?
Adelaide, South Australia.
Oh, okay, you're in Adelaide. Yeah, we did a Zoom meeting with Golden Robot Records the other day to talk about the launch of the record, and there's a very big talk about me and Kelly Nichols bringing the band over to do an Australian tour, New Zealand and Japan in 2021. So hopefully we'll see all you guys in 2021 in Australia. They're really thinking about bringing us over there. So we got our fingers crossed, and if we do come over, me and you will have a beer. We'll hang.
Rock and roll. I promise not to bring a frozen rack of lamb.
Yeah, please don't.
Hey, we're just about out of time. I think I should wrap it up, Steve. So thanks so much for your time, man. Good luck with the album Renegades. Very good album. I like it. Best of luck with that. And hopefully, yeah, we see you next year.
Oh, man, thanks, Mal. I'm so glad you like the album. We can't wait for everybody to hear it. And, yes, I will see you next year. I'm going to count on it. And thanks again for your support, brother. Be safe out there, okay?